Okay, today we're going to learn to clear some fractions while we're solving for algebraic equations. I know we all love to work with fractions, but they can be a little bit intimidating when we have a question like this. So we're going to do what we call clearing. We are going to look at both sides of the equation, and I put brackets around both sides because I want to make sure that I actually have an equation. This will not work for algebraic expressions. It has to be an equation, so you need the equal sign. So those two sets of brackets show me that there's actually an equal sign. Okay, the next thing I have to do is I have to look. And I have to look at all the denominators of the question. And I see that there's 3s, 12s, and 4s. I need to find the LCM. The LCM for this question would be 12. So I'm going to multiply each and every term in the equation by 12. That's going to help me to clear the fractions. So I look in this first term and I see it's 5/3. Well, I know that 3 will go into 12 4 times. So 4 times 5 gives me 20. I'm going to add the next term, and again I have to multiply that term by the LCM 12. I see that 3 actually goes into 12 4 times, and so I multiply 4 times 2 gives me 8x. The equals should line up directly below the equals on top. 25/12 times 12 is the next term we're working with, and the 12s will actually cancel. So we're left with 25. 5/4 x is the next term. So we look at 4 will go into 12 3 times. 3 times 5 is 15 times x. And the last term we're dealing with is 3/4 times 12. So 4 goes into 12 3 times. 3 times 3 is 9. Now, just like all the rest of our equations, we need to look at each side to see if there's anything we can simplify on either side of the equation. So we have 20 plus 8x. Nothing can be simplified there, so I'm simply going to copy it down. On the other side, however, we have a 25 and a positive 9, which is going to give me a 34 plus 15x. So I'm going to write 34 plus 15x. Okay, now we need to look at moving our terms, combining our terms across the equal sign. So we have an 8x on one side and a 15x on the other side. We need to combine those terms. The easiest way is probably to take a negative 8x and add it to both sides of the equation. On this side, that will give us a 0. And on the other side, we are going to end up with a 7x. We have a 34 still on that side and a 20 on this side of our equation. Now we need to start to isolate our x, our variable, and we are going to put our equals. We're going to keep our 7x on this side of the equation, and so we're going to use our addition principle to take away or get rid of that 34. So we need to use an opposite, negative 34. And so we have a negative 34 we need to add to the other side as well. That gives us a negative 14. The last part of solving the equation is always using your multiplication question or principle. So we need to divide by 7 on both sides, and that leaves us with x equals negative 2. And we can actually go back and check that equation. Let's move this up a little bit. So we have 5/3 plus -2 times 2/3 is going to give us a -4/3. Going to multiply the, we have still 25/12 on this side. And we've got a -5/4 times the -2. And so 2 will go into the 4 twice. We're going to end up with a -5/2 and a 3/4. So the 5/3 and the -4/3 is going to leave us with 1/3. The 25/12 and the -5/2, sorry, and the 3/4, we are going to end up having to find an LCM, which is going to be 12. So we have 25/12. I'll just move it up so you can see. And then we're going to have to multiply by 6. So that's going to give us a -30/12. I could have actually made that a subtraction. And then we're going to have 4 times 3, so that's going to be 9/12. So 25/12 plus 9/12 is going to give us 34/12. And then subtract 30/12 is going to give us 4/12 on that side. We have 1/3 on this side. And if we divide top and bottom both by 4, we are going to end up with 1/3. So 1/3 is equivalent to 1/3. We solved correctly.